All right, we are back and we are live. And this is Dirt Bandit 33, and I am back this week. All right, man, we have a lot to talk about regarding our hobby. What do we want to find? What have we found? What's in our bucket list? I don't know. What do you say about it, Mr. Josh?
I think it's a good topic to cover. How's it going, everyone? We are back. We are live, and you are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound. We are both here. And after last week with Kenny's unfortunate absence, he is back with us tonight. Good to have you back, sir.
Thanks, partner. Yeah, I missed the show. Some of the topics, it was just good. I went back and listened to it, and it's great as always. You had a great guest on, man. Two-Tone Joe. I saw he had a lot of friends on there, and it was a good show. You know what? Here, let me just lay it out. When you can go to a show and listen. Well, let me just say this. You go to the metal detecting radio shows to do what? To talk metal detecting, to talk history, to talk about what we use, how we use it, the research, no drama, no name calling, no let's throw somebody under the bus kind of deal. Oh, that's boring. We talk about what's going on with the hobby, and that's what we do. You know what? Spring is here. The ground's soft. So I'm curious. Has anybody found anything that they've never found before that's on that bucket list? Or just simply hear the callers calling in to say, man, I haven't found this yet. I researched this. I'd love to find this. This is on my bucket list. Or even better, yes, I did find a bucket list item. Or, you know what? Just call in to talk about the hobby. It doesn't have to have anything to do with that, because anything goes here. We just talk about metal detecting because that's what we are. We're hunters. And right. We hunt.
Yes, we do. I do anyway, at least when I can. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to get out, but I've still been managing to sneak out here and there and pull some silver coins, and that Great Seal button the other week, that was a nice find.
That's crazy find. That was, you know what? That was a beautiful button, man. I was like, wait a minute. Where's he hunting? Is he still in Ohio? I was like,
yeah, it was deep too. That thing was probably 9-10 inches.
Well, that's why you still found it. It's because it was deep. Because very rarely anymore, especially if you're around areas that gets hunted quite a bit, are you going to find that 4-inch target anymore? I'm not saying you won't. I'm just saying there's not as many as they were.
Oh, yeah. And you may find that 4-inch target, but chances are good that it's going to be a recent loss.
Right. And exactly.
In the hobby, you know, everybody's got their own style of hunting, their own thing that they like to hunt for. And for some people, they're all right with that. And there's nothing against that. There's nothing wrong with looking for the recent losses. But I like to get out and find the history and the old stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just, we've said before, that's just how we roll.
Well, where I'm at, it's got anything to do with artillery, buckles, bullets, buttons, coins, currency, wholesale Civil War, artifacts, displays. I can go on and on. I mean, down here, and with like the rest of us in the Miss Lou Relic crew, let me give them a shout out while I'm on here. Fortunate there's areas down here where you can get into a little bit of the other wars, the pre-wars before the Civil War. Places like where Mr. John Kelly himself, L.A. Relic Hunter, L.A. Gold, Kevin Strahan, digging deep dirt south. They're down there where they can find, well, just about anything that's got anything to do with the wars that this country has had to deal with. And up here where I'm at, it's pretty much the same as long as you get your research on, which should have been done while it was cold. Everybody's had all winter to do their research.
That's right. So, best time to do it.
And another shout out. I see the hammer is in the chat. That would be my good buddy.
I was just fixing to bring that up. Good eye.
Mr. Haggy, yes. By the way, Mr. Haggy, when you do get your new machine, there's a lot of people in Ohio that know where a few things are to hunt. There's places there. Josh had just pulled out that beautiful button just like, what was it, last week?
2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks. Wow, 2 weeks. Man.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track. My days and nights and weekends and stuff all just kind of run together.
Right. Yes. And of course, we got Suki in here. We got Rob in here, metal detecting there. We got Bear Barrel. Swansea is here.
Ohio Relic Hunter.
Yeah, and we got Thiltsy and Gary. Yes, we've got them in here. Man, I'll tell you what. What do you say, Josh? I'm just going to put you on the spot right now. What is on your list, man? What do you want to go out? What are you looking for? And, of course, you got to kind of keep it real on where you're located. You're not going to go out and find, let's say...
That's true. I'm not
something from... Something from the Alamo in your backyard, probably.
Yeah, so. I'm not going to go out here in northwest Ohio and dive the Atocha or something. There's a difference between realistic goals and unattainable pipe dreams. Here in Ohio, odds are still good that you can hit the colonial coppers, you can hit the Spanish reals. Good buddy of mine, Terry Barnhart, what was that, last summer, I believe, he hit an 8 real here in the area.
Wow.
So, yeah, and the thing was in just excellent shape. I mean, stellar. Anybody in their right mind, I guess I may be a little certifiable, you may be too, but anybody in their right mind would be proud to make a find like that.
And indeed, I have been called certifiable, guaranteed. I believe, which was connected to my hardcore recovery video. And thanks for that shout out, because it's got me some views. I appreciate that. Do it anytime.
Yeah, post them links to videos.
There's nothing wrong with being certifiable if you're saving history, so you can take that one.
Right. And, for those of us who get out and preserve the history like that, a lot of people think that a lot of us in the hobby are a little crazy, maybe. But then again, what if we're actually the normal ones?
Oh, that would kind of bring me down. I don't want to be normal. The world's too normal. We got to mix it up. We got to bring a little abnormalcy to it, so all the normal people could actually see something. I don't know where this is going. But how we got off track. That's what I'm saying. You put us together, what's going to happen next?
Right, you just never know.
Oh, but by the way, not to interrupt you, that real is on my list. I've not found one.
Neither have I. And it would be nice to find. I guess I can't really say that I have anything that would specifically rank at the top of the list, like a certain level of finds on the bucket list or anything. I just like to get out there, find the history, and I'm cool with trying to find anything I can. I'd love to, it's like walking into a smorgasbord menu or something. I'll take one of everything.
Well, especially now, this type of year, and I'm sure Swans can relate to this, and so many of the rest of the listeners, you've been in what I call a winter lethargic cave. So anything you find right now is a good find.
Oh, yeah. When the first time I got out this season, Winter had just kind of drug on for all of us, and when I was finally able to get out with the detector, I'm like, I don't care what I find at this point. I'm just glad to get out and dig. I'll be happy with a flippin' pull tab.
Well, I mean, just a tone, to hear a tone, just to get you going. Just to hear that nice, high, repeatable tone.
And there are, I guess I've got some items that, for me, I like those items that you can find that have a bit of a personal tie to the past. Like, you can tie it to a specific person in the past in your area. When you're able to find, like, say, a piece of your local history or area history, that's always kind of cool, too. So,
right, and that's like in this area, and I'm sure the guys down in the crew that are listening that hunt in that area, when you find, or for example, when the crew did their, the Miss Lou Relic crew did the Vicksburg hunt, I mean, everything you found there, you knew why it was there, and it didn't take much to figure out what was going on when he was making those finds, especially one like Chris Engel found. I mean, that took some research, but to be able to track stuff down like that, if you could have a hunt like that every day, I don't know if I can handle it. That hunt there was just an exceptional weekend with a great bunch of people, a great bunch of hunters, and that's what it's about.
Oh, yeah. And with the Vicksburg hunt, you guys were well armed, you were informed, you had done your research, you had looked at the maps, and picked out those areas that you thought would be, in a sense, hot spots.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, it took, and that's hats off to, KS Hollywood and LA Gold, which is Kevin Strahan and John DeVille, for researching that and getting the permissions on a quite large piece of property, I should say, and treacherous. Let me throw that in. But for them to get that authorized and set up and put everybody together and for it to gel was, that just don't happen every week. Every month, sometimes every year.
And it does take, there is time and effort put into something like that to get everything set up, and then not only to get it all set up, but to pull it off smoothly. Exactly. Well, just so the listeners will know, we are taking call-ins. We want to hear from you guys. Just give us a call. Go ahead and give them the number there, Josh. That's right, 419-549-5744.
Right. We would love to hear from you and hear some of your finds and, what you found it with and what you're looking for. Or maybe you have a hunt coming up, that's already set and you're looking forward to. We'd love to hear about that. Any of the past DIV hunters that are listening. So I don't know if Denny is here. I haven't seen him post. I haven't seen him around, but I'm sure he has a few stories to tell as always. I know he had found another breastplate and a bunch of bullets at DIV, and I'd love to hear about it.
Right. And I know he is back in the area. He is back from Virginia now, but I think he's been pretty tied up with work. But we'll see. Maybe we'll hear from him tonight. And we've got a caller.
All right.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
Swansea, what's up?
How's it going?
How you doing, Kenny? Good to have you back, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Well, obviously, most of the people that follow me know what I found, but I'm not going to get into most of that, really. My favorite find is probably still, and I have to put it this way because Josh is sitting right there. It's not necessarily what I found, but it was the amount of research I went through to return with probably that class ring.
Well, and it does have a unique story behind it, and that's what makes some of our finds so interesting to us.
It does. And then what I'm really looking forward to is next week, starting next Wednesday, the 22nd through the 26th, is the Best of Northeast metal detecting thing, where last year is where I found that ring, as a coincidence enough, and also my first reel, which was the 1759 reel, the one reel.
Oh, that's right. Bones coming up. I had almost forgotten completely about that.
Yeah, and that's where that mystery came from.
Yeah. Speaking of mysteries, I'm sure we'll see Keebler there at Bone and his mysterious ways of hunting, how he can have $5,000 in detectors and all he really needs is a magnet.
That's exactly what he did last year. Last year at Bone, he found a bunch of his horseshoes, he found a bunch of his ox shoes, he found a couple of hatchet heads. I think he found every large piece of iron that's possible to find in a farm area.
I think that's why one of the reasons why he likes that dais. It's such a light detector that he's got the energy to carry all that big stuff out of the field.
Well, it's funny when you watch a guy walking around with a metal detector on his arm and a wheelbarrow in front of him to take his finds with him.
Oh, man.
Custom finds pouch.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I've heard before. He makes a number of trips back to the vehicle to dump his pouch.
Well, then he switches detectors every 10 to 15 minutes on the field. He goes over one spot. He'll grid off a 10 by 10 with one detector. He'll go back to his car, grab another one, grid the same area off with another detector, and he'll go back again with a third detector. I couldn't believe when I saw the guy do that.
Well,
that's awesome.
You know, you can go over an area with a detector and then go back over it, say a different coil, different settings, or even a different machine, and still continue to produce finds.
Well, you know what? That dais is so light, I'm surprised he doesn't have one in each hand.
He's not a very big man, Kenny. He's a little guy. If he had one in each hand, he'd be using them like crutches.
Oh, I got you.
Well, but then again, if he's going to try to do the whole two-detector thing like that, the dais would be one to do it with.
He's got one. He uses it.
Yeah, he likes his dais. I believe Stealth Diggers put up a video last week, maybe? It looked like Keebler was running the AT Pro in that video. He wasn't running his dais, but he's ready to go back to it, I think. He was kind of feeling it in his shoulder after not being out all winter and then getting out swinging all day.
Yes.
Yeah, he does well with whatever machine he uses. I mean, yeah, I joke about Henry using the magnet and everything like that, but the guy finds some great finds. He's been metal detecting, like you said before, back since the military days. He does find some really amazing finds, and he goes by the same philosophy, and I follow him in that step, is dig everything that you can possibly dig out of the ground, and you never know what it's going to be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree. Certainly not knocking Keebler because he does make some nice finds. I do like to joke around about his detectors and the magnet as well, but Keebler has made some very nice finds, very commendable and respectable finds, too. He does very well for being out there hunting like that, but he does put a lot of time into the field, and you know, that's usually for the people that make those nice finds, that's what you see behind the scenes,
right?
That they are determined and they are putting a lot of time out in the field, and they're being diligent, and the time invested, in a sense, the effort put into it, is rewarded in finds. That's a good point for sure.
It is. And speaking of fields, let me get to something here that I'm reading in the chat. Gary was talking about, and I can actually back this up. He was talking about a U.S. park ranger let him know that if you're driving inside a U.S. park, like Gettysburg, for example, but this would go with Vicksburg, and I know that because they carry M16s there.
Oh, yeah.
And different ones. If you drive through there with a metal detector in your vehicle and you get checked and your batteries are in it, it is like a loaded gun. You're in trouble. You best have those batteries out. That is a confirmed. I checked that myself. So, Gary, you are correct.
Yeah, because at that point, I mean, it may sound like a bad comparison, but at that point, it's, you know, you're being dealt with just like you're carrying a loaded firearm.
Yes.
Because when you've got them batteries in there, you're locked and loaded and ready to hunt as far as they're concerned.
Oh, sure.
And that shows that you have not only potential, but in their eyes, intent.
Yeah, which is,
you know, don't like.
It's sad that it's come to that, but if you have permission to hunt, let's say, property that borders one of those U.S. parks, which myself included have hunted in different states. I've had permission to hunt, right up to where the sign says you're in this military park. But with permission on that, I mean, have your ducks in a row. Know where you're driving, because part of the road that you're on could go through that park. And the best thing to do is when you're done hunting, take the batteries out. It only takes a second. Just follow the rules and you'll be fine, and preserve the history.
Right. And the same goes for, you're out in the woods hunting. You may be trying to get to another spot that may take you, say, 50 feet or 50 yards across someone else's property. And you may think, oh, well, I can just cut across there real quick. But if the wrong person sees you at the wrong time, it's potential hassle.
Well, have your ducks in a row. And when I hear down here, what I do is, let's say, I get permission from this guy, and to get to his property, there's a 15-20 foot swath of somebody else's property that I have to cross to get to it. I always notify him, and believe it or not, I've only had one to tell me, well, you're not crossing it. And I'm thinking, well, I got a word for you, but that's fine. And I'll find another way around. But it's only happened once, but it can happen. Usually they're like, oh, yeah, sure. And you usually end up getting that property to hunt while you're at it. It's not that big of a deal. And one other thing, when you're hunting next to these parks, be it Vicksburg, Gettysburg, wherever, Shiloh, wherever you may be, turn your GPS on, turn your maps on. They're marked, they're bordered, they show your position. Look at it, be sure it's only tuned to yourself, and know where you're at. And because there's always markers. You're not going to cross it unintentionally. I have actually heard people say, oh, well, I didn't mean to cross it. Well, when you got a big sign and it's fenced around and I don't.
Right.
Just don't make it hard on everybody else. Follow the rules, man. Because remember this, those parks is only the part that the Battlefield Commission were able to get. That's not the whole battlefield. That battlefield could be 3 miles in diameter with all the camps on each side. That's just the piece they've been able to purchase. So your spot you're in could be even better than the one that's marked. So don't worry about it.
And even if they did manage, which I can't say for sure that there's one out there like that, but even if they did manage to purchase the entire battlefield, there were still areas around that of activity.
Oh, sure.
Don't have.
Yeah, absolutely.
The troops didn't just, the soldiers and stuff didn't just flick a switch and teleport into the battlefield. They had to get there somehow.
Point A to point B. I talk about it all the time. That's where you're going to find your little honey holes. Most people haven't found is because everybody's concentrated on A and B. I like concentrating in the middle because somewhere along the line they marched. They were pulling horses, wagons. They stopped at crossroads. They love to camp at crossroads, especially if there's a creek nearby. You keep all of that in mind and search for the little stops that they would make in between. You'll be amazed at what you'll find. Speaking of finds, let's get back to the topic. One of my finds that I want to find, I found half of one. That being said, that means I've not found one because I've only found a half. But I would love to find an intact martingale heart from the horse that's on the front of the bridle on his chest, that nice heart. It could say CSA. It could say a lot of different things. I mean, they're very hard to find, but they are out there. Maybe even have a
name engraved in it.
You never know. It could have the horse's name engraved in it. You just don't know. But they are out there. I've seen several of them. Man, if you ever find one of those. They're heart-shaped. I mean, if that thing could talk to you, what a story it could tell. What an item. What a piece of history to be able to save. I would probably, if I found a complete one, I would probably have a display case just for it.
That.
Just for it with nothing else in there. Maybe throw a picture of a horse and a soldier in there with it just to, obviously it wouldn't be that very one, but just to give you an idea what it was for. And, so.
Right. Maybe even like a little paragraph description or something on what the find is or even where it was found or something.
Right. All right. Anyone else out there would like to express what they haven't found yet, what they would like to find?
Yeah,
what you
found, what you'd like to find, maybe how you're going to find it.
Yeah,
maybe you've got a place eyed out that you're wanting to hit, and you're going, man, my research and everything, this is what I think I'm going to find, and I can't wait.
Yeah, like, for example, let me throw one more out there. Now, I've got something similar, but how about a Confederate Georgia frame waist belt plate? Jesus, if I could find that, I'll tell you what, listen, I know a lot of people want to quark on the diggers because they seem to jump over every limb and jump into every lake and jump into the thorn bush
cartwheels
when they find something. But I swear, if I was to find that, I'm in. I'm going to jump and run into something. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to hit something. And because I have failed before, and I'm sure I'll fall again. But, yeah, to find like that, just crazy.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes when those different finds come up that you're really hoping to find or something, man, the excitement level is just phenomenal. Last week, Ohio Relic Hunter called in and was talking about a find that he made that Two-Tone Joe was like, yeah, the day he made that find, I'm pretty sure I heard him hollering clear over here in my area.
Yeah, it may have been what I heard.
It's a good possibility. You never know.
Yeah,
I must have been sleeping that day, but I hear that it may have sounded strikingly similar to Sasquatch.
All right, and we have Mr. Joe Angel here talking about a 1901 S Barber quarter.
Nice.
That's on his bucket list.
That would be a good one.
Oh, man.
Man, I'd half liable to fall over if I unearthed something like that.
But let me tell you guys, pick up the phone and call in and let's talk about those barber quarters and whatever. I can read the chat all night long, but we want to hear you. We want to hear you talk about it. I found, now here's something else. If you've ever used, or if you haven't, maybe you will. I actually heard about this through LA Gold, aerial history or history aerials, vice versa. Anyway.
Yeah, historic aerials.
Yeah, historic aerials. I pulled that up and his old home place, right? And you in this particular one, a little of them's different on the format, but it could choose your date and time. This one went back to, I think it went back to 1939, and I saw this old home site, and I knew where the area was. I know there's nothing there now. So I looked, and I could see an old clothesline. And I was like, really?
Yeah,
that is so
wait a
cool.
minute, that's
because
it
it had clothes on it, so it was obviously a clothesline. So got there, and what's amazing about it is dug a hole, 1916 Merc. Was I looking for the D-mint? Oh, sure. Difference between $1 and $1,000.
Right.
And a 1916 Barber dime was in it with it. So that was crazy. That was a crazy hole to dig right there. But just showing you, do a little bit of that research. It'll work for you.
Oh, yeah. And there again, a few years back, that buddy of mine, Terry, goes forever. The gentleman that found the 8 Real last summer, a few years back, he did hit a 1916 D Merc.
Right.
I'm almost half convinced that guy may be carrying around a duplicate to Chicago Ron's horseshoe, because he really has made some nice finds in his years of detecting, but there again, Terry spends a lot of time in the field.
Well, bucket list items can go. For me, obviously, I'm a Civil War buff. I would love to go up and hunt the Revolutionary part of it. Up there with swans and different ones up there in the Northeast. Of course, there's some of it down here as well. We had the American Indian War and everything here too. There's so many items out there, and what's unique is when we were hunting in Vicksburg, there's a Spanish fort, obviously, that was there, and some of the soldiers used that same area. So when you're finding some of those those musket balls, you're thinking to yourself, okay, this musket ball was 11 inches deep. These musket balls are 5 inches deep. I'm just thinking to myself, what if this musket ball was from the previous?
Right, because now you're into a spot where your finds could potentially be crossing periods.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there.
You can dig up one item and it could be Civil War, and you could dig up the next item and it could be even older.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Another bucket find of mine would be, now I found one part of a mold, but I haven't found the cast brass scissor type mold where they clamp the scissor type where they shut it and they pour, it's got like a round ball. Do they pour the lead in it?
Oh, yeah,
and
the
then
bullet
when
molds.
The bullet molds. That's up there for me, being a Civil War buff. Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. How cool would
for.
that thing look in a display?
Oh, man. I do have, what I did find that was on my bucket list, though? Here's what I did find. I found the 1/8 ounce, where it takes an 1/8 ounce of black powder when they were making their bullets, because when they ran out and they had to field cast their bullets and wrap them in their paper, some wrapped them, some did not. They used an 1/8 ounce powder. Well, I actually have, which I dug about, just say 3 miles from Shiloh. I dug the scoop exactly with an 1/8 ounce where it holds the powder. So I found a black powder scoop. And I showed it to some of the guys when I was down there in Vicksburg. So that's something I would just about say I'll never find again.
That is definitely cool. And now does that, since it's something that you may possibly never find again, is that something that may fall into the list of some of your best finds, so to speak?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, anything that's personal like that, that's a personal item to me, because it's got a little ring on it it was made to have a loop on the end of it so they could carry it on their belt.
Right.
Or whatever. So when they sat down at the camp, and they went to mold, to cast their bullets and stuff, they would have that and dip into their bag of powder, level it out, pour it where they needed to. So that's just a personal item. It's just, it would have been really cool if you could, of course it wouldn't work, but how cool would it have been nowadays if you find something like that to fingerprint it?
Right.
Of course there wouldn't be any records, but I'm just saying, stuff like that's personal. All the carved bullets, I've got carved bullets, it's got crosses where they, carved crosses in them. Even got a couple that's where they have, on one side's got a number, on the other side they did another number. That is a little confusing. I don't think a chess piece would fit into that, so I don't know, maybe it was the date. I don't know. Who knows what they were doing?
Right. We've got a few callers coming in here.
Let's go.
We've got Ryan from Ring Wars, and hang in there with us, Ryan, for a minute. We've also got 4543. You're on the air.
Hey, Josh. It's Matt with Tarheel Diggin.
Hey, Tarheel Diggin. How's it going, fellow YouTuber?
Good,
Yes, sir.
doing well. Just listening to Kenny talk about all those Civil War relics is making me drool out here.
Man, I love your vids, brother.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah, they
Bill.
are very good. Very
Right
nicely
back at
done.
you. Right back at you, guys. As far as the bucket lists go, those Civil War relics have really come to the top of my list. I don't have a lot of battle sites or things like that to search around here where I'm at, but I really hope to pull a box plate or a belt plate or something like that this year. That's really at the top of my list. So, Kenny,
well, man,
I'm
rooting for you. I'm rooting for you because I'm going to tell you right now, when you pull that out, the first thing that's going to happen to you, and within the first, let's say, 1 to 3 seconds, is going to be an interstellar silence, and then all hell breaks loose.
And then probably a little bit of time to sit down and just absorb.
Yeah.
So I stared at him.
That's usually what happens. And when I find something off the bucket list, I usually just kind of stand there and just kind of look around and absorb it, soak it all in, try and figure out how that got to where it was at.
Right. What was it here? I think your last video, you were on Harmonica Hill and Churchyard Hill.
Yeah. Harmonica Hill was an old Union camp. They didn't stay there very long. Shortly after the surrender of the South, some Union troops camped there on their way back up north. But able to pull a relic out of there from time to time.
Well, you know what? And being the surrender that did happen, and they were on their way back, I guess Harmonica Hill is the perfect name for it, because I'm sure it was more of a celebration than where we heading next.
Yeah. There were a lot of items that were discarded, a lot of bullets laying around. They didn't really need them that much anymore, and they didn't want to haul them back up north, I guess.
Wow.
Right. No sense in carrying it all around with you.
Yep.
Definitely. So you're looking at trying to hit a plate this year.
Yeah, that's my main goal. When I first got started in this hobby about 3 years ago, the coins were the top find, and my first year out there, I was really lucky and knocked one off my bucket list. The first silver coin I ever found was an 1816 Spanish real.
Nice.
Wow.
That is the one little object that has addicted me to this hobby, and things have evolved now. I'm around to the Civil War relics mean a lot more to me now.
Let me, if I can give you just one little tip on that plate.
I'm all ears.
Have you run across any tent stakes?
Yes, one location I found 2 of them.
You're close. I'll just put it to you that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have found several, and I'm not tooting a horn here. I'm just being honest. I found several plates, and most of them were, very close to the 10 stakes.
Okay, now what I have found aren't stakes. They're the 10 stake tensioners.
Same thing. Yeah, anyway, put you in that same location.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're finding the tensioners, you're probably not far from the stakes either.
No,
Right.
no, they're in there. Of course, it'll be large iron, but it could be anything from a railroad spike to an actual tent stake that military issued tent stake, which are pretty long and curved. However, if you're hunting an area that has the terraces where the farmers, if you see terrace rows, do you know what I'm talking about there?
Yes, I do.
Hunt that terrace row, hunt it deep. And every now and then, if you're in a camp area with a terrace row, even if you don't get a signal, take a 2 or 3 foot swath and pull about 5-6 inches off of it and swing over it. You'll be surprised at what might happen. Yes, because those terrace rows, when they made those, there was a lot of relics, a lot of stuff pushed up in there, and they can be anywhere from 4 inches deep to 2 feet deep. So just take a little top off that soil, swing on it, and you'll be like, well, that signal wasn't there. No, because it's deeper than it should be, but if you pull the top off of it, you can find it. I've found 2 plates doing that.
Wow.
I found 4 plates in 2015, and all of those were fortunate, obviously, but they were researched out. God, let me shut that thing up. Hey, anything goes here, but anyway, those little tips, man, if you can get in those camp areas where those tents were, a lot of times where you find those plates.
Well, Kenny, I appreciate that. Guys, I'm gonna check out. I'll let somebody else chime in, but I appreciate it. Great show tonight, and great show last week with Joe. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank
Nice.
you. Keep putting those videos out and digging, and best of luck in your quest for the plate.
All right, guys. Kenny, it was an honor. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Ryan, how's it going?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, not a whole lot. We're just discussing best finds and bucket list items. I'm sure you've probably got some of them.
Well, you know what? But let me interrupt real quick because I think he's already got something on his bucket list, and that's the gear that he now has to go find the thing on the bucket list. The gear he didn't have before and the gear he has now, and I don't believe there's much ice left, so you're probably pretty happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is warming up. You've been out hunting and hit the ground running this season. Already, 18 or 20 silver coins under the belt?
Actually, I had a stellar day today. I got 15 silver coins just today.
Oh, good grief!
Mostly Mercs, a couple Rosies, and one 1913 Barber just today.
Wow.
15,
That
so
sounds like a bucket list hunt.
actually, yeah, that puts me at 33 for the year.
That is awesome.
That's my best ever day, I guess, personal, for one day's finds.
Gonna be hard to top that.
Yes,
None.
yes, it will.
You know, and I'm going to have to agree with Mr. Bill there, Ohio Relic Hunter. That scuba gear is going to pay off, buddy.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. In about 3 weeks, I finish my open water, so it's open season right after that.
Okay, now,
Awesome.
what underwater camera are you using?
Right now, I'm eyeing up, I forget the brand. I was looking at Best Buy the other day. Right now, I have one that's only good to 10 feet. It's, I don't even know what it is.
Now, is that the ZX3?
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, I have like 4 of those, and I also have a Sony that's got the case in it that I can actually go 200 feet. If you'll go get a Sony HDR AS15, it's a great action cam. You can even set on how much fisheye is on it. Unlike the GoPro, you can set it, and it can go, I believe it's 250 foot deep.
Does it have a screen? See, I don't like the GoPros because they don't have a screen.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Sonys. If you have a waterproof phone, which I do because I'm tired of buying phones, so I had to find a Dirt Bandit proof phone, a smartphone, and I finally found one. Right. I can actually...
Yeah, there's an app called Play Memories.
Right. You can look at your phone.
Your phone has a monitor.
Right, and strap it right to your wrist, and you can watch everything.
And
I
really,
have a feeling if my phone went underwater, we wouldn't be seeing anything.
Well, you can go to hardcorerelicrecoveries.com and you can pull up the. I'll send you a link of the phone that I have here. It's $159. It's good for, I forget how deep it goes. It goes a long way. Run over it with a truck. They do all kinds of stuff with it, and I'm like, all right, I can use that phone. It's got an altimeter in it. It's got all kinds of good stuff. I love this phone. it would work for you.
Yeah, very rugged. And really, the AS15s, if you haven't looked at those very much, Ryan, they're very well priced, cost effectiveness, feasibly affordable, and their video quality is very comparable to the GoPros, if not a little better.
Yeah, it is.
Looking at one at Best Buy, and it was going for about $350, and it was good to 100 feet. And it had a screen. I'm not sure. I don't remember what the brand was. I'd have to look at the website.
Now, well, you just got to remember, whatever you buy, just make sure it's compatible with what you do. And remember, you get what you pay for. So, I mean, you went to the point of getting this gear. You went to the point of making this next step in your hobby, going deeper to find different stuff. You might as well go all out and get what you need, buddy. And
I'm going to
just keep that camera rolling, because I can't wait to see your reaction when some big eel comes out of a hole and says, "Hey, Ryan."
or when he gets down there, like, 10, 12 feet or whatever, makes that eye-popping find and gets so excited he spits his regulator out.
Let me off subject for a second. Tam, no, the phone I doubt is lawnmower proof, but thanks for that. Now I've got to worry about that.
Yeah, well, and let me tell you, there ain't no faster way to cut your call short, and I can speak from experience, unfortunately.
Did you guys happen to see on your Facebook the Beyond Sight and Sound that find I made yesterday?
You know what?
The cabin.
Yeah. I was fixing to watch it after the show. I saw it when it come up, and I'm going to go view that joker as soon as we're done tonight.
That is a nice find.
Just a picture. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's Roosevelt's cabin with the Maltese cross, 1907 on it. But I'm trying to figure out what it was off of. I don't know if it was some kind of a medal, or was it like a Boy Scout badge, or still trying to figure that one out. It's got the double swords going through it.
You know what I want to see you do? Or here's what I would love to see you do. I would love to see you come down here with that gear and get some of these rivers and find these cannonballs, these Hotchkiss shells, this war-torn area from years past with that gear on. Now, I hunt and I water hunt. I don't video it too much for certain reasons that I'm not going to get into because of the places I hunt. The owners prefer me not to do that. But if I were to get into what you're doing and I got off down here in some of these places, there is no telling what will come out of some of these rivers. I'm talking muskets, swords, just unlimited thing. Well, ask Aqua Chigger. I mean,
exactly.
He can tell you when you get into these rivers.
You're liable to start to grow gills or something because you may not come out of the water.
I'm thinking that's what's going to happen here. The water world.
There you go. I make for some great video, though.
Oh, yeah, and I'll be posting lots of it.
So, any sort of, bucket list items you're hoping to hit this year?
Oh, I guess I'm a coin guy. I'm always chasing the coins. I'm thinking probably like a seated half would be like the top of the list.
Oh, that would be nice.
Everybody always wants like a Morgan silver dollar or something, but I still think a seated half I'd probably like that better.
Right.
I have been fortunate when it comes to Morgans. Went on a little spell there where I got into an old home site, a couple of different old home sites, never found a Morgan, never thought I would find a Morgan, and my total is 4. And haven't found one since. And I found all 4 of those Morgans within a month. And I've never found, and I'll probably may never find another one. I just got lucky.
No, you just never stop looking and you'll find them.
Oh yeah, yep. I mean when you hit them large coins like that, it's really something else. I had always figured like my first dollar coin would be like a Susan B or something like that. And unfortunately it wasn't nice enough to be a silver dollar, but it was an Ike dollar. And that thing, to reach in, the signal just screamed. And to reach into the ground and feel that huge reeded edge, it's like, oh boy, what did I just hit here?
Right, man.
For sure.
But being here, when we go back to the bucket list, being here where I'm at, and I've found some very nice buttons, but I think one of the rarest, probably the rarest, but most probable places to find one is around this area, would be a Confederate local Mississippi beveled Star Militia button. You find one of those, you're going to make some noise. You're going to have collectors calling you and everything else. They've been a couple found, but if I could find one of those, then again, it would be, I don't know, man. I don't know how I would react if I could preserve such a rare button like that.
Right. You hit one of those, Ryan's liable to hear you clear up in Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, they're from General Wadhall's, 1862 and 1863 Mississippi camps. So, I mean, you can find them. You probably can find some in Tennessee too, but man, what a find.
Well, when do you finish looking for ginseng in the fall, Kenny?
Oh, well, one of two things. When season's over or the first frost. And it's usually the first frost, unfortunately, because I would love to hunt all the way through December, but that usually doesn't happen. So on average, I would say I'm done with the ginseng hunting mid-November at the latest.
Okay, I was thinking something late fall. You were talking about coming down there and looking for cannonballs.
Yeah.
Late fall, it's cold here, but not so bad down there.
No, not so bad. And I usually go in the mountains September 1. I head out the last week in August. I set up base camp, and then I go into the mountains, and I don't come out. Very rarely do I ever come out. My wife drives and sometimes brings the kids, sometimes doesn't, and I don't come out of there. I dig the ginseng, bedroll, fire, coyotes, wolves, bears, everything else that goes with it, and I love it. It's my release.
Your zen time.
It is my zen time, and what's great about that is this fall, with the tools that I have here and the electronics that I carry with me, this show will be done with me sitting at my camp. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, and we're joined with Mr. Chris Engel as well.
Brother Chris.
Hello, Brother Josh. Hello, Brother Kenny.
Well, hello.
How is it going?
Good, good. Great show tonight. Really enjoyed listening. But, you talk about bucket list. I guess number one on the bucket list for me would be a Confederate tongue and reef. I would love
Nice.
That's the one thing I would love to find.
Chris, I got a question for you.
What you got?
I wonder how many hunters of Civil War relics that have a bucket list and a ladder badge was on it.
Well, I've often wondered that too. Because I haven't ever seen anybody post one as a find, except, when I found those and you and I were there in Vicksburg. But
You know why? Because you're it. I don't think you understand the magnitude of that day that we had together.
Yep.
I have searched and searched and searched. I went through forums and forums. I have not found anyone that has ever found a ladder badge, much less the same regiment, obviously, the 50th Regiment, as that you found. And not only did you find the part of that ladder badge 4 inches over was the other bottom part to the ladder badge, which I, just about passed out with joy over that. And as you can tell, if anybody has not watched that video on Dirt Bandits, the Vicksburg hunt, you have got to go watch that video. I mean, it is nothing but down-to-earth hunters doing what relic hunters do. And that's preserving history. You got to go watch that. That's a Miss Lou Relic crew getting together. But Chris, that find, and I know I always go to it because it's worthy of talking about it all the time. I don't know of anybody that's ever found one. And I'll put a challenge out. If anyone can find someone that has ever found and dug, let's make that a point of reference. Dug.
Right, must be dug.
Must be dug.
Yeah, out on the battlefield.
Right. I don't know what I'll do. I'll decide that when it comes. But let's see if we can find somebody that's actually found one. That would be interesting.
I've looked through a lot of the old magazines and all that on posts on, and I haven't found anybody that's found one. I'm not bragging. I'm not elated that I found it. And one thing is, Kenny, you and I were together. That made it that much better that I could share that with you. And I thought, to me, that was probably one of the best times.
Right, among friends, you get to experience the find together.
Well, and now
I still think about it all the time. That that moment that you said, come here, and I come over there and you go, tell me what is this exactly, and I look at it and I knew it was a ribbon bar off that badge. I mean, I told you right then. I said, I was like, I just sat there and stared at it, and I'm like, there's no way. And of course, it wasn't, it wasn't cleaned up at that point, but you could still tell what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And to have those little chains and those little chain links hanging off of it for another badge to hang on to just blew me away, man. I was like, I don't think he understands the magnitude of what he just dug. And that's when I looked at you and said, it got to be, and there may be another piece to it. And I said that right off the bat.
Yep. And what was so funny is he said that, he said, okay, I'm going to go back over here because I've got a target. And I said, wait a minute. And here he comes walking back over. I said, Kenny, you're not going to believe this. And out it pops. And
Wow.
I mean, that's when I think it really hit me, because I started shaking. And Kenny says, why are you shaking? It's not cold out here. And of course, then the laughter started in. It was just unreal. It really was. I still look, every time I basically see him, I get back on YouTube and look at that video again. And, it wasn't only the badge, but hunting, like I said, with everybody in the Mystery Relic crew, that had to be just a super time too. And to share that find with them.
Oh, man. Just a special weekend that was. And if you guys get a chance, go check out Kevin Strahan's videos. That's KS Hollywood, LA Gold, Digging Deep South LA. LA Relic Hunter. We had some good moments. And, I think we had, the Twin Diggers was with us. Kevin Yoon was with us. But give them all a shout out. What a great time that was.
Yeah,
and that find is a bucket list item.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And what made it so neat is being able to go back and research and find out that it was the 50th Pennsylvania. And then come to find out, if you look at the maps, you won't ever see the 50th or the 50th Pennsylvania even mentioned on there.
No.
So I thought that kind of odd, so I did some more research and found out that they were assigned to the Army of the Ohio.
Right, they merged.
Yeah,
Right.
So that brought up more. Then I got to find out, they were stationed up on Haynes Bluff. Well, basically where Kenny and I were, it was a bluff. And I've seen old pictures of Vicksburg. At that time, it was more rolling hills, one or two sparse trees here and there. Now, of course, 150 years later, you got these deep ravines, and you got trees growing everywhere. So it just made it that much better.
Yeah, just watch the video. It'll tell the whole story.
Yeah.
What it took to get to that spot. 2 hours of walking through Jurassic Park, along with ever crawling critter and everything else there was. But what a really neat place that we were at. And once again, I'll say this again, I tip my hat to Kevin Strahan and John DeVille for putting that together, because without those two guys, Chris, we would have never had that moment.
That is so true.
And it's a great thing.
Yeah, and I mean, Kevin and John both, you could not meet a better two guys than those two guys. They are awesome, very knowledgeable, and willing to help you stop what they're doing and help you so you can make finds. And a good example, Kevin Strahan. He was worried and helped more people find stuff. And
he didn't get much of a chance to even really hunt. He was more concerned in making sure that you guys all had a good time and that you guys were making finds. Very unselfish.
That's right. And like I say, those two guys, everybody, get out there. LA Gold, KS Hollywood, look at their videos. Those guys, they're awesome. They're down to earth, good metal detectors that you just can't beat. And I'm not taking away from anybody else that hunted there that weekend, but man, my hat goes off to those guys.
Right. And, something else, we're talking about the bucket list. Something else can be included on that bucket list is our listeners. Look at the chat, look at the people on it, and how neat would it be to make a plan to get together with Ohio Relic Hunter, Swansea, everybody that's on it, Tar Heel, Super Drew, and hunt with them guys. That's a bucket list item, if you ask me.
Yes, it is.
Just to
Super
be
Drew's
able
in
to
the house
get.
too?
Yeah, Super Drew's in the house, man. Yeah, he's
Drew's
commented
in the
on that
house.
nice burp I delivered for everybody. You don't get that every day, man. I don't do that for just anybody, guys. I want you to understand that. So,
We
I
definitely
mean,
should organize something.
Yeah, we're rolling out the red carpet.
oh, awesome, man. Just totally awesome.
You just never
guys,
know which way the show's going to go, but Ryan did make a good point. Maybe we should think about organizing a little something.
Yeah, and it may take a little time. You got schedules, you got this and that, but it can be done. It can be done. I would rate it up there with one of my highest finds, just to be able to hunt with everybody. Speaking of rating, rate the show, hit the hands, like the hands. Listen, man, we love our listeners, love all the ones that's even not chatting, that's listening. You're always welcome to chat. You're always welcome to call in. This show is for all hobbyists, all listeners. This is what we do. We talk about the hobby. We get ourselves pumped up. I'm ready to go out and dig right now. That's why we do this, man. Let's get pumped up and get out there, pull some history out. If you do videos, put it on videos. If you don't, take a photo of it, post it on Facebook, Beyond Sight and Sound. We all want to see it.
That's right. We're pushing almost 1,500 members now.
Woo! Now, just think if we could get all those 1,500s listening to this show. Hey, let's spread the word. Our group, let's let everybody know that's in our great group of people that we have this show. If they have the means to get on it, let's get on it. Get them listening to this show. Get people into the hobby. Talk about our machines. Get out there, dig some buttons, dig some bullets, dig some coins, Matt, and get that plate, buddy. I am rooting for him to get that plate. Good grief, man.
And I'll tell you what, speaking of spreading the word, for those hunters out there that do have YouTube channels and put up videos, in case they have not heard yet, interesting little project going on that I encourage us to kind of get involved in. Do a YouTube search if you're not already a subscriber to him and check out Depths of History. He's just uploaded a subscriber contest video recently, but that being said, he has a side project going on where he wants to do a slideshow of hunters that have YouTube channels where you send him an email with like a photo of you out hunting in the field or one of your best finds, maybe even a link to your YouTube channel or whatever, and he is going to be compiling a photo slideshow to upload on his channel to help spread the word of other hunters out there that are doing YouTube videos and stuff like that. I look forward to seeing it. It should be kind of interesting, but so far, as of this morning, he's only had like 15 or 16 people contact him, which is good. He's happy to have that many, but he would like to see more. So
yeah,
let's all participate.
Yeah, talk to me more about this, Josh, because I'm definitely in. And since I have been referred to the late 48 hours or so of being certifiable, I might as well send the photo with my harness and my rope going down one of those ledges. So I'll send that photo to him. So that's a great thing he's doing. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, I've already sent, he's got a photo of me out water hunting, so I am one of the 15 or 16 that have already contacted him, but I think it's cool. It's something that we can all get involved with, and it will spread the word about us.
Right. And just so those listeners that don't know or have not seen the video, it's Hardcore Relic Recovery. Sometimes if you want to go for the history and save it, and your research tells you where it should be, sometimes you have to take certain steps to get to it. So I put on harnesses, I rappel, and I get down to the bottom of these rivers, on these bluffs where those shells were fired at, and so apparently somebody out there thinks I'm a nut and it's a waste of time, and well, it's my time to waste. Don't watch the video.
Maybe
whatever.
maybe you are a little crazy, but then again, I think we all are.
You got that right, man. Hey, it's all about preserving the history, and that's what I'm going to do and continue to do, and God willing, will always do.
Right. And if you don't have that gear that you'd like to have to go out and make those bucket finds, check out Charles Stafford, CS Relics. Or jump on to hardcorerelicrecovery.com. Amazon widget on the right-hand side of the screen and get your gear through there. You just never know.
That's right.
And if that doesn't work, hey, there's always Evan Granger, great guy to deal with. Colonial Detectors out there with Rich. It'd be another one to check out. The options are there, people. And here in Ohio, MT Detectors.
Correct.
Meet them.
Correct. Now, did you go over CS Relics?
Yeah, first one.
Okay. All right. Good. Didn't hear it, but I'm sitting here concentrating on... Actually, I just got a text. Believe it or not, I'm sitting here doing this show. I just got a text, invited to hunt. It's a place on the Tennessee River. This place, guys, let me share this with you real quick before we go. This was in a low-lying area, this camp was. Nobody's been able to hunt it because of a landowner situation, which has changed now. They took the mud, which was clay, and they stacked around the tents so it would stop it from coming in. And then now you can go there and you can actually see the squares that have been left from where that dirt was packed up to go around those tents. Now, if that ain't cool, I don't know what, if that ain't cool, I don't know what is. So I'm looking forward to that.
That would be cool. Another thing I wanted to kind of throw out there, too. I don't believe they're ready yet. The way it sounds, it may be more towards fall before they're into production. But there is we'll say a new upcoming product that people have been testing, diggers made out of right here in Ohio, that they seem to be very good quality from what I've seen and heard so far. You can follow updates on how they're coming along and everything by getting onto Facebook and look for Swashbuckler Digging Tools.
Nice.
Toss them a like. You know, these people, this particular gentleman is making these things. Sounds like we've got a variety of colors that they're going to do. Maybe a couple of different designs once they get everything rolling. Right now, though, they're still in testing because they want to make sure that these are going to last for the digger out in the field. So they may not be available to even purchase until this fall. This is how new and on the ground level that this is right now. But I think that these guys could really go somewhere with the product. You may want to check them out. Throw them a like. You'll be able to stay updated on things that are going on. Follow their page, stuff like that. But that's Swashbuckler Digging Tools.
Right. All right. And I'm going to start doing one thing. I'm going to give a downer of the week and a tip of the week. My downer of the week is Garrett. Please send me my Garrett carrot. Come on. I've waited long enough. I want the Garrett carrot. Tip of the week is snakes are crawling, guys.
Oh, yeah, you got to be careful out there in those areas.
Be careful. Put your tick spray on. And it only takes one bite to cause you trouble. So, 2 garlic pills before bed. Get up the next morning, put the tick spray on. You'll have no issues. Believe me, I am infested in the woods down here. I don't have a problem with them. So, just be careful.
Right.
Kenny, I just wanted to pour a little salt in your wounds. I pick up my Garrett carrot tomorrow.
Well,
I got the phone call. It is in.
Oh,
okay,
Killjoy.
Just remember, Ryan, when you go to 12 foot, it's only good for 10.
Yeah, but how are they going to know? Do they?
Right.
And when you get down there and realize you may not have, or that you may have went too deep, don't spit your regulator out.
You're right. Right.
I'll stick it in a vacuum seal bag.
There you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what they did with it. There's no secret that they were falsing with the pro pointers, but there wasn't any falsing with those pro pointers when they first came out. That was later on. What they have done, kind of through my sources, they put an extra end cap or sealed that point. The problem was in the very tip. And remember, it's not a shovel. It's a pin pointer. Yeah, it's got a scraper on it, but I've
Yeah, but
seen
there's a
some
difference
guys.
between a scraper and a digger.
I've seen some guys I hunt with that just treat them like a shovel, and they wonder why they don't work a month. Yeah, they wonder why it don't work in a couple of months. So, but anyway, I'm looking forward to that. You know, I use the X pointer quite a bit. It's a great one. Yeah, and I still like the Pro pointer, but I'm really looking forward to that one that you're getting tomorrow, and maybe mine will be coming soon.
That's right. You never know. Hopefully
Great.
it does.
All
and
right.
I'm sure when it does, you will enjoy it. Now,
Josh, this has been another great show, buddy.
well, I was going to say we've got just a couple of quick minutes. Let's see how many people are actually listening and interacting in the chat. Go ahead, take a moment, click those pink hands, rate the channel, and then I'm just going to count them off. Rather than burning up a lot of time, we'll just count them off as they come through. But once you click those hands, rate the channel, grab your phone, and give us a call, 419-549-5744. Caller number 3 will win themselves a MindLab hat.
Woo!
While we were talking about accessories and stuff, I'd like to give everybody, I recently got for your CTX 3030 users, I got an aftermarket arm cuff. I believe it's from Indian Nation Detectors.
Oh yeah, the Jeff Herky arm cuff. Okay, 2256 is caller number 1. So we've got one caller in already. And those arm cuffs, I have heard, are very, very comfortable.
Wow.
Especially I was swinging the 17-inch coil all day today, and it sure made it a lot easier.
Yes.
Right. We have 4543 is caller number 2. And those are how much? About $70 a piece?
I think there's 60, and then, don't quote me on this, but then maybe 80 or 85 with the neoprene cover.
Right. 2256, you're on the air. You are caller number 3.
Me?
Yes, you're...
Gary Heckman from Ohio.
Gary who?
Gary Heckman from Ohio.
Gary, turn your volume
Turn your radio down.
Yeah, turn your radio down.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. I believe while you're on here real quick, Josh, I think he had a question. I think he uses the 3030. Am I right, Gary?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Great.
well then, a MindLab user getting a MindLab hat.
That's correct. I was just about to ask your question, and we got into that other subject there, Gary. He wanted to know who all in here used the MindLab, the 3030, the CTX. Well, our big host, Mr. Josh, is one. I'll just
You're
say that
on with
right
a
off the
couple
bat.
of us because Ryan also uses the CTX 3030.
That's correct. All right.
I must be having a bad run of luck with mine. I've had mine about 2.5 years, and I've never found a piece of silver yet.
Oh, something's... Yeah. Because Ryan just said himself today he found 15 silver coins.
Yep.
He's not hunting with Ryan. That's what the problem is.
Right? Either that or he's hitting them spots that Ryan's already tore up.
Well, to find them, you got to put the coil over it. That's for
That's
sure.
true.
That's right.
That is a fact.
Okay, but I had to send my unit in because I had a problem with it, with the unit and the coil, and I got it back last winter, and I didn't get a chance to use it, and I got it out this spring, and everybody's finding silver around me but me.
Well, you know what? Keep swinging, buddy, and it will come.
That's right. You just got to keep trying.
Just remember,
and-
go real slow.
Yeah.
Slow and slow.
And
Slow.
listen close. I've only been out a few times so far this year, but I have hit 4 with mine already.
I'm about
I've
to
tried
put
so
out
many-
a new video.
I've tried so many different programs with mine, and I don't know. Sometimes it gets overbearing, and you can be full of yourself, you know.
Right.
And you don't know what to use or what not to.
It's easy to do that, and you know what? Here's what all the machines. Sometimes, if you're having one of those, what I call just a bad luck time period, sometimes you want to blame the machine, or is my machine set right, or what am I doing wrong? Go back to the instruction thing. Even though you think you know your machine, it may be one little thing you could be missing. Go back and go through the instruction video again, or something, and just get yourself fired back up for that machine and get back out there and try it again.
I'm trying to find somebody close to. I'm trying to find somebody close to me that's using a 30-30. You know.
Whereabouts in Ohio do you live?
Over by Canton.
Well, we may have some listeners out that way that use the 30-30.
Now, Gary, are you on the Facebook Beyond Sight and Sound page?
No. Well, I'm on Facebook also, but I just keep trying. Sooner or later.
Try to
look
sign
me up
to the
on
group.
Facebook, and I can help you out with it. If you can get a hold of me, I can get you on the phone, and I can walk you through some settings and give you some tips.
See, and that's the great thing about the Beyond Sight and Sound members.
Absolutely.
The way they like to try to help each other out.
And that's the way it is.
Who just said that he could give me some hints and tips and hints? Who was that?
Tell him, Ryan.
My name is Ryan Holubiw, Holubiw is my last name. I'm on the Beyond Sight and Sound group page. If you go down, you'll probably see a post or two of mine very recently. Friend me, and we'll get in touch, and I'll help you with your settings and give you some tips and do whatever I can to get you finding that silver.
Okay, I'll do that, Ryan. I appreciate it.
And,
outstanding. And Gary, when you find that silver, take a photo, take a video. Be sure you are on the Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook page as a member, and post that so we can all enjoy looking at it.
Yeah.
I went up with a guy the other day, and we just, all three of us bought new AT Pros also. And we was walking, I said, well, you need to try this old trail right there, Jim. And he pulled out an 1829 5-cent half dime, or it was a half dime, or it was a silver, 1829, what do they call that, a half dime?
Yes.
And I about died, and that thing's got really pristine markings on it. I mean, there's hardly any wear on it whatsoever.
Awesome.
But it's a great find. It's a great find.
Yeah.
Congrats on the hat, man. Congrats on winning the hat.
Yes. Are you on my Facebook friends list?
Who said that?
Josh Kimmel.
Let me see, Josh, if I am.
Josh, while we're on this subject, I believe Joe Angel's also waiting for approval.
Oh. Well, then I will definitely try to get in there and get that done tonight or in the morning.
Josh, I just added you as a friend.
Okay, yeah, I use the Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound logo on my profile picture. You'll see that I will approve that friend's request tonight. When I do, PM me your shipping information, and I will get your hat out to you, sir.
Okay.
So, congratulations to you on your win of the Mind Lab hat. And be sure and get Ryan added to your list, and he can give you some help with the CTX. I may even be able to answer some questions myself. I'm up here in Northwest Ohio, so I may be a little far out for you to travel, but...
No, I'm retired. I travel all over the United States with my horses.
Nice.
We will definitely see what we can do about getting you on the right track and hitting some silver.
Josh, real quick.
Okay. I requested your friendship, Josh, and then maybe you can send me back Ryan's last name. I didn't get it written down. He said it kind of fast. All right?
All right.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, and
Thanks,
congratulations.
Ryan. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Great. That was awesome, man. That was awesome. I've never seen Gary on here before. I think Ohio relic hunter. I think he's hunted with him. I think he said anyway. But we'll get him. We'll get him hooked up. And next week we're going to go over a little bit about our drawing. Correct, Josh?
Yes. Thanks for bringing that up, Kenny. I
don't know.
For those who have not went and registered yet, check out the Beyond Sight and Sound domain, beyondsightandsound.com. It's that simple. It's easy to find. Get there. Get yourself registered. It'll help keep you updated on the shows as well as other events that are going on. The other week we did a copper bullion coin drawing on there just for the registered members. That wasn't for the Facebook group members. That wasn't for the people who were listening to the show. That was just for the registered domain members. And there will be other pop-up events like that from time to time. Also, when you get on there, check out, there's a tab that says fundraiser with a little bit of information of what's going on with the situation, as well as a photo slideshow of some of those items that we will be doing a drawing for very soon, as our little way of saying thank you to everyone who has shown support, either by donation to help Kenny, Krista, and the family in this rough time, or by donating items for the drawing, such as our caller at the beginning of the show, Swansea. He donated a Garrett digger that will accompany the Dirt Bandit tested and approved AT Pro, as well as a Garrett duffel bag. That's a package deal for a winner.
Thanks very much, Swans. That's awesome, buddy. And my wife, this means so much to my wife, of course. If you read what's going on, it's about her mother and what we're having to do here in the very near future. One thing, Josh, just if there's anything made or anything sent to hardcorerelic@gmail.com, please do not use the word raffle. Just gift it, because PayPal tends to frown on that word.
Yeah, don't mention anything about raffle, drawing, nothing like that. But for every $10 increment, that will get you an entry in. And we have been keeping a list. I have not posted that list anywhere, but we do have a list compiled of everyone who has helped show support thus far, which big, huge amount of thanks to our friend Homefinder.
Yes, huge amount. Just chatted with him or messaged back and forth with him just the other day. I will have videos when we get up there, and then Mom and stuff. I have all of that for everybody. But I know we're running a little short on time here. But once again, just a big thank you from my wife and myself. You, the listeners, you guys are awesome, man. Get out there and may you find what's on your bucket list. We wish you the best. Stay safe and enjoy the hobby.
That's right. If you like the show, rate the channel, drop us a line if you'd like to be a guest or have a topic you'd like to see covered. Other than that, thanks for everyone tuning in. We got to roll. We'll see you.
Peace out.